Today we are going to discuss about the dual structure of GST. GST is a tax which is charged on the consumers based on the consumption. Say for example, when we are purchasing some goods or any daily usable items or we are getting some services, we will be receiving the invoice from the seller or from the service provider. And when we check that invoice, we could see they are charging GST at different rates. So different products as well as different services are charged at different rates in GST. There are certain products which are excluded from GST. Say for example, alcohol products or petroleum products, all these are excluded under GST. Same way, some services also excluded from GST. And different products and different services are charged different rates. And when the transaction is taken place within the same state as well as when it is closing the boundaries of state, the GST rate will be different. So you can see the dual tax structure of GST. So as per this, we are going to classify GST into three categories. One is CGST, another one is called as SGST, and the last category is called as IGST. So we will see what is CGST, SGST, and IGST. So before that, we will see what is an interstate movement of goods and what is an intrastate movement of goods. Intrastate movement means when the goods are transferred or the buyer and seller is within the boundaries of the state and the transaction has taken place within the state, we will call it as intrastate. And there are scenarios where we will be selling the goods from one state to another state. That means goods will be moving from one place to another place, which is crossing the boundaries of a state. So in such cases, we will call the transaction as interstate. So we will see what is this dual structure of GST states. In case of intrastate supply, there are two types of taxes applicable. So intrastate, we already discussed the transaction is taken place within the boundaries of a state. Say for example, the buyer is in Bangalore and the seller is also in Bangalore. So in such case, the GST applicable will be divided into two. One is CGST, another one is SGST. So CGST means central GST and SGST means state GST. So CGST will be collected by the central government and SGST will be collected by the state government. So say for example, if I am purchasing a particular product and the rate of GST for that product is 8%. So that 8% GST will be divided into two in case of intrastate sales. That means 8% will be equally divided, which will be 4% in CGST and 4% in SGST. Same way, if we are getting a product or purchasing a product which is having a GST of 18% and the transaction has taken place within the state, that means buyer is in Bangalore and seller is in Bangalore. The goods is charged at 18%. So since the transaction has taken place within the state, same place or within the state, we will call it as intrastate transaction. So in all intrastate transactions, two types of taxes will be applicable, CGST and SGST. So this 18% GST will be equally divided for the state government as well as for the central government. That means CGST will be 9% and SGST will be 9%. CGST will be collected by the central government and SGST will be collected by the state government. Now, let us see what is interstate transaction. In case of interstate transaction, the movement of goods will take place beyond the boundaries, or we are crossing the boundaries of a state. Say for example, buyer is in IGST will be collected by the central government. So dual structure of GST basically includes two types of transactions. One is happening within the boundaries of the state, and another one is crossing the boundaries of the state. So if the transaction is happening within the boundaries of the state, we will call as intra-state transactions, and if the transactions are crossing the boundaries of the state, we will call it as interstate transactions. In case of intrastate, we have two types of tax: CGST and SGST. CGST will be collected by the central government and SGST will be collected by the state government.